Okay, we will do our normal meditation exercise. But before we start this time, one thing that's helpful is to drop whatever thinkings that you have, because at least if we are totally relaxed, we drop our thinking, then easier to enter into calm state mind. So just drop whatever thinking we have, including the thinker. That means whatever perception we have of the person. Okay, because quite often when we drop our thinking, it's like we have a backpack. We're still holding the backpack, but we just relax like this. Now just like throw away even the backpack so that we are totally relaxed. If you have difficulty, one way that help is to feel the body. That way also you'll be grounded. You will be able to drop the thoughts. Once you have dropped all thoughts, now put your attention on your body. We'll adjust the body posture. If you are sitting on a chair, try to keep both the feet parallel to each other and firmly on the ground. If you are sitting on the floor or the cushion, try to keep both the knees and the buttock, the 3 points on the floor or the cushion. Keep the back straight but relaxed, comfortable. Drop the 2 shoulders. Totally relax the 2 shoulders so that we are not holding anything. The hands, you can put one on top of the other with the thumb slightly touching on the hips, or you can put them on top of the knees facing up or down, up to you. Imagine that there's a string tying the head up so that the head don't drop down. Totally relax the whole body. You may choose to open the eyes, close or half close. If you are sleepy, please open the eyes. If you are restless, maybe close or half close the eyes. Now that we have adjusted the body, we'll adjust the mind. Bring the mind to the present, to be here, to be now. Ask yourself, are you here? Are you present? Drop all memories of the past, all plans for the future. You can pick up later. Just stay at the present moment. From this present moment, put your attention on your breath. Just know the breath as it goes in. Know the breath as it goes out. Breathing in, we know we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know we are breathing out. If you are sleepy, put more attention on the in-breath. That will make us more alert. If you are restless, put more attention on the out-breath. That's like sighing. It will relax us. Once you have no more sleepiness, drowsiness, no more restlessness, just naturally know the breath as it goes in. Naturally know the breath as it goes out. Do not control the breath. Just know the breath as much as you can. Breathing in, we know we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know we are breathing out. If you know 1%, let it be 1%. If you know 2%, let it be 2%. Don't control the breath, just know as much as you can. If there are wandering thoughts, don't follow the wandering thoughts. Don't try to push it away. Just stay with the breath. Just know as much as you can. As you continue to know the breath going in, to know the breath going out, notice that the breath keep changing, sometimes in, sometimes out, sometimes long, sometimes short, sometimes deep, sometimes shallow. The breath keep changing because it's impermanent. Similarly, every part of the body also keep changing because it's impermanent. So we don't have to panic if something happened to any part of the body because it will keep changing. Breathing in, we know we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know we are breathing out. As you are aware of the breath, also notice that we have no full control over the breath. We cannot have just in breath or just out breath. Every in breath is followed by out breath. Every out breath is followed by in breath. Since we have no full control, it's not fully satisfying. That's dukkha. As you continue to know the breath going in, to know the breath going out, notice that since we can't fully control the breath, we can't claim ownership of the breath. We don't have to have the burden of owning the breath. There is a breathing process, but there is no permanent breather. As you continue to know the breath going in, to know the breath going out, notice that the awareness, the knowing, is always calm and peaceful, no matter what happened to the breath. As long as we stay with the awareness, the knowing, we will have this calm and peace. As you continue to know the breath, notice that our experience of the breath is dependent on the mental state. Mind more calm, the breath is more calm. Mind more restless, the breath is more restless. From the breath, we'll move to body sensation. Just aware whatever body sensations you might have. Could be the weight of the body on the chair or the cushion, the solidity of the body, the hardness of the body, the heat in the body, coldness in the body, or just tingling sensation in the body. Just aware whatever body sensations you might have. Don't have to give it a label, don't have to give it a name. Just aware whatever body sensation that arises. Notice that whatever body sensation that arises, immediately it will cease. There is no body sensations that remain continuous. Every body sensations we have, whether it's hardness, coldness, heat, the minute it arises, it will pass away. Similar body sensation might arise again, but it will pass away. So we don't have to be afraid of any body sensation because the minute it arises, it will pass away. It's impermanent. Every single body sensation that arises is impermanent. It will immediately cease. As you are aware of the body sensation, notice that we have no full control over the body sensation. We only have a choice on which body sensation to pay attention to. Hence, the body sensation is not fully satisfying. That's dukkha. Also, as you are aware of the body sensation, notice that since you have no full control over the body sensation, we can't claim ownership of the body sensation. So we don't have to have the burden of owning the body sensation. We can't say my leg is painful. There is a sharp sensation on the leg. And we don't claim ownership of the body sensation, we don't have the suffering, the pain. As you continue to be aware of the body sensation, notice that the awareness, the knowing of the body sensation is always calm and peaceful, no matter what body sensations we have. As you continue to be aware of the body sensation, notice that the body sensations is dependent on the mental state. When the mind is more restless, the body sensation is less comfortable. Mind is not, the mind is calm, the body sensation is more comfortable. From body sensations, we'll move to emotions. Just aware whatever emotions you might have. Could be happiness, sadness, boredom, excitement, or no emotion. That's also a type of emotion. Don't have to give it label, don't have to give it a name. Just aware whatever emotion that arises and pass away. Just be with the emotion. Notice that every single emotion that arises immediately will pass away. No emotions remain constant. Whatever emotions you have, the minute it arises, will pass away. Similar emotions might arise again and pass away. Every emotion is impermanent. As you continue to be aware of the emotions, notice that we have no full control over the emotion. We only have a choice on which emotion to pay attention to, which will amplify. Since you have no full control, it's not satisfactory. That's dukkha. As you continue to be aware of the emotions, notice that since we can't fully control the emotions, we can't claim ownership of the emotion. So it's not I'm sad, it's there is sad emotion in me. It's not I'm angry, it's anger emotion in me, which will arise and pass away. That's anatta or non-self. As you continue to be aware of the emotion, notice that the awareness, the knowing of the emotion is always calm and peaceful. And as you continue to be aware of the emotions, notice that again, the emotion experience of the emotion is dependent on the mental state. Mind more calm, emotions more calm. Mind more restless, emotion more restless. From emotions, we'll move to thoughts. Just aware whatever thoughts you might have. Don't try to know the content of the thoughts. Just aware as thoughts come, thoughts go. If there are no thoughts, just put your attention on the space where the thoughts last disappear. Otherwise, just aware as thoughts arise, thoughts ceases. Thoughts arise and thoughts ceases. Note that every single thoughts we have, the minute it arises, it will cease. So we don't have to get rid of any thoughts because it will go by itself. Because every thought is impermanent. And we don't have to be afraid of any thoughts because the minute it arises, it will cease. Similar thoughts might arise again, but it will cease. As you continue to be aware of the thoughts, notice that we have no full control over the thoughts. We only have a choice on which thought to pay attention, which will amplify Since we have no full control, that's unsatisfactory, that's dukkha. So continue to be aware of thoughts. Notice that since we have no full control over the thoughts, we can't claim ownership of the thoughts. Again, we are not happy. We only have angry thought. We are not happy or sad. There's only happy thoughts or sad thoughts that arise and pass away. We are not angry, but there's only angry thoughts that arise and pass away. We don't have to have the burden of owning the thoughts. They are just guests that come and go. That's anatta or non-self. So you continue to be aware of the thoughts. Notice that the awareness, the knowing of the thoughts is always calm and peaceful, no matter what thoughts you have. Again, as you're aware of the thoughts, notice that the experience of the thoughts is dependent on the mental state. Mind more calm, the thoughts more calm. Mind more restless, the thoughts more restless. Now just stay with awareness, whether it's awareness of breathing, body sensation, emotion, thoughts. Just stay with awareness. Feel the calm and peacefulness of the awareness, the childlike, carefree innocence, the curiosity of the awareness. Allow this good energy to flow into every cell in the body, wishing every cell in the body to reconnect this natural peace and calm, to reconnect this childlike, carefree innocence, to be well, happy, healthy, and strong, to be at ease. Continue to allow this good energy to flow out further to your loved ones, family members, relatives, friends, wishing each and every one of them to reconnect their natural peace and calm, to reconnect their childlike, carefree innocence, to be well, happy, healthy, and strong. Can visualize a smile in all their faces, in their hearts. Continue to allow this good energy to flow out further to our neighbors, people we meet at work, colleagues, people we meet at market, supermarket, people that take care of electricity, water, rubbish, wishing each and every one of them to reconnect their natural peace and calm, to reconnect their childlike, carefree innocence, to be well, happy, healthy, and strong. Continue to allow this good energy to flow out further to all humans, regardless of race, religion, nationality, wishing each and every one of them to reconnect their natural peace and calm, to reconnect their childlike, carefree innocence, to be well, happy, healthy, and strong, to be at ease. Continue to allow this good energy to flow out further to all beings, all animals, all dhammas, protectors, all devas, all guardian deities, all seen and unseen beings, wishing each and every one of them to reconnect their natural peace and calm, to reconnect their childlike, carefree innocence, to be well, happy, healthy, and strong, to be at ease. May all beings be well and happy. The last exercise, just put your attention back towards yourself. If you have difficulty, you can put your attention on the point at the back of your head, but preferably just put your attention or awareness on yourself. And you can ask yourself question of who am I or what am I? We'll continue for another minute. Okay, just aware of your body. If you can slowly aware of the body, for those who have closed the eyes, can slowly open the eyes. If you want, you can rub your hands to warm up the hands and warm up the face. Okay, as usual, if there are any questions and sharing or feedback, please do unmute and share or ask questions, or you can type in the chat box. Okay. Oh, so please go ahead. Good.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yeah.
Hope you are doing well.
Good.
Bhante, I have a question. I had a conversation with a friend. She went to Grand Canyon, and I said, "How was your experience?" And then she said that she is when she walk in the path, she is so afraid of the height. So so she hesitate to walk in the hiking path at the beginning. So I asked her what is her fear. And then she was quite open-minded. She's a meditator. And then she said that when she was about 10 years old, she saw an old lady went up to the stairs in I think a high rise or something, or apartment, and then jump from there and die. So that memory is in her. And then you can say, the calm innate child, when we were young, every time you meditate, you say, we have this innate calmness as a child. So, but that calmness, I believe when she was 10 years old, it get disturbed. So I said that, so I kind of share with her a little bit, there's a memory, and then, it's not what happening right now, but it was the thought. But she said she understand that it's a knot that she said she can slowly. So after she realizes a thought, she can slowly walk a little bit, but very slow. So she does have have the fear, but knowing that it's a thought that come and go, so she can slowly still proceed and finish the path, but very slowly. So she asked her friend not to wait for her, let her go on her own pace, on the very side, not too close to the because there's no rail in the path. So her question, I guess, when she told me it's a knot that she couldn't open, but it will take time. So in this case, how would you advise people that you have a knot, right, in the childhood, to disturb your calmness and your innate calmness? So how do you advise people to open up that knot? And the memory probably will be there for quite a long time.
My answer is actually, in the old days, traditional psychology, not old days, there's this what you call maybe cognitive, they do that also, cognitive behavior therapy. where, or even they are, one time popular is the past life regression therapy, where they bring people back to that incident and let them release whatever they're holding on in that incident. This is one way to do that. But I don't really feel that there's a need to do that. To me, whatever you call a knot, it's already past. As long as you don't use thought to bring it back and to relieve it, it doesn't affect you. You get what I mean? Every time it affects you, actually, is you are using thought to relieve that, relieve that incident again. But that incident is already past. So
Right. She knows, right? It's a memory, right? So it come and go, right? The memory, the thoughts or the memory come and
the
go. So
memory comes
immediately,
only when you use thought. When you put focus, you use thoughts or you focus on that. Actually, you're using thoughts to recreate that incident. Because if you don't have thoughts, you cannot recreate that incident. You are actually, I won't say viewfully, but you are using your mind to recreate that incident. Maybe half subconsciously, but you are making effort to recreate that incident. That's what I'm trying to say.
yes, she realized that too, because she's also a CBT therapist herself. So you know, she knows the CBT, but she was also mentioning, okay, this is a bad memory, but also in childhood you have a lot of good memory, happy memory with your family. She remember one time she feel very special when her dad hold her hand and buy her some a book. So that memory bring joy to her. So that is also a memory, right? So not just a bad memory. So in this case, what Bhante you are saying is that sometimes there's a not, whether it's a happy or not a happy memory, but it's not necessary to release the knot, right? It's just
No, that's what I
not,
feel. And
yeah,
I think I'm not a professional in this line, but I think for CBT is they try to see that our current condition is affected by this memory. So you don't pay attention to this memory. You pay attention maybe to something good or something like this. But my viewpoint is when you do that, you still think that the memory is real. It doesn't matter what memory you have, they are not real. As in, when I say not real, doesn't mean you deny it. It means that it's not happening now.
right. It was
When,
happening
it
when
was,
she
but
was 10 years old. Yeah.
yeah, but now it's not 10 years old.
Right. I
When you
did tell
still
her.
when you still think that it's a not, you still think that it's disturbing you now, but it's not. It-
That's why she can still proceed, right? She said she made good progress, but
yeah,
she said she didn't open up everything. She was happy she can still finish the trail, so she's making improvement, right? In the
yeah,
Grand Canyon without
but
a real.
she still think that she need to solve that
Yeah,
incident,
correct.
but you
Yeah,
don't
but
because that incident don't exist anymore.
mm, 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 mm.
You get me? That's the slight
Yeah, yeah.
difference uh, between what I'm sharing and what a lot of people who knows about how thoughts affect us. Some
Mm,
people they know
mm,
thoughts affect them, but they think that I have to solve the past because the past
mm,
affects me. But
mm,
I'm trying to share with you that the past don't exist anymore.
I think that's a good one. Yeah, I was, I say, okay, so I share with her your talk that
Yeah.
in the YouTube. I said, listen to the talk and listen to the, a lot of people asking the question to Bante, and then tell me how, how you can resonate with that. But yeah, I was also thinking, do we really have to open up that knot, right? Everybody has probably a childhood knot here and there. Uh, but what you are
Yeah,
saying is that you don't need to, because it's no longer reality at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah. If you want to
Yeah.
open the knot, is you think it's real. That means you make it real and you try to open. You get what I mean? Then you are creating trouble for yourself.
No, you think it's real because it was real when she was 10 years old.
No. Yes, it was real when 10 years old, but now she's not 10 years old.
Yeah, correct. That, I think that's the big difference. You have to know that way, that you're no
Yeah,
longer 10 years old. You now no longer happening in front of you. So
no,
you don't need to release anything because that
no.
was not the thing right now.
Yeah,
Right.
but this
Now
is not so easy. You got to explain this. Yeah, get what I mean? But
I
because when
asked her
people
to
say,
explore. Yeah.
yeah, because when people hear when I say that thoughts create our reality, but they still think that they need to solve the past. You don't need to solve the past because the past is gone.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
good.
thanks.
That's good. Yeah, thank you, Bante.
Thanks. So,
Take care.
okay. A few things. One is last week we showed a very short video, I think about 5 minutes, along the way that along the line of what I'm sharing. Those who miss it, please watch. And if anyone has seen any videos like this, please let me know because it's in a video format. It's very good to present to everyone. Last week's video was courtesy of Bihui, but anyone see this kind of video, please let me know. I'm interested. Okay, there's a question here. Good evening, Bhante. Is there any difference between thoughts and daydreaming during meditation? Daydreaming is thoughts. Daydreaming is using thoughts. Yeah, I don't know what's your intention of the question, but when you're daydreaming in meditation, you are using thoughts to create your world in your mind. Okay. Okay. Basically, I want to keep reiterating the two things that I keep sharing, okay? Because I think we need to be constantly reminded of it, although it's very simple. One is we have, and these two things help. Recently, I find that it's now they start to use this. When I say use, means introduce this to many, not now actually, for the last 20 years. But now they have done many research paper on how effective just knowing these two Dhamma that I keep sharing with you all in helping many mental illnesses. In fact, I'm half starting to read this book called Beyond Diagnosis. I'll type it up in here. It's interesting for those who are in the line of psychology and psychiatrists, or in the help, what do you call, in the helping industry or area. This book might be useful because it explains how we have understand the mind wrongly, how psychiatrists and psychologists has using traditional method has not helped patients, but sometimes make patients worse. And how knowing these two things, which I keep sharing, solve a lot of cases, and they detail many real life cases, 40 international cases. So again, I want to emphasize what are these, these two Dhamma. One is we already have this innate health, mental health inside us, which means that each and every one of us, including those who are termed bipolar, um, schizophrenic, and so on, they actually have innate mental health. That means originally, naturally, they are mentally healthy, they are mentally sane. It's just that they start to believe their thoughts more and more. And all of them don't suddenly become bipolar, or don't suddenly become depressed or have anxiety or panic attack. It developed over time. It started with maybe we have a thought on, did I lock the door? Maybe I didn't. If I didn't lock the door, then maybe someone will come in and rob me, and maybe someone will assault me, and so on. And the thought increases. So from one thought, you increase to 2, 3, 5, and you believe the thoughts. Normally, you just have one thought when you forgot to lock the door, or you think you forgot to lock the door. Then you create more and more stories, and the stories become more and more real. basically, one, you don't know that you have innate health, that you can go back to this natural calm. Number two, you believe the stories created in your thoughts as reality. So basically, two things that we got to keep reminding ourselves. Number one, naturally, we are always mentally healthy. Naturally, we're always calm and peaceful. Okay. Number two is all our thoughts, without exception, are just stories. They are not real. And our whole world is formed by thoughts. So if you don't believe what is happening is real, it's just stories by your thoughts, then you won't get sucked into your thoughts. So this natural calm and peace, how to familiarize with it, I do it nearly every week, is very simple. Easier if you close your eyes, put your attention back towards yourself. When you put your attention back towards yourself, you will feel this calm and peace in your mind. But if you don't, it's okay. If you feel annoyed or you have a lot of emotions up and down, or if you have a lot of thoughts, don't pay attention to all these thoughts or emotion. Pay attention to the space where the thoughts or emotion arise and pass away. You will feel that that space is very wide, very spacious, unlimited, without boundary. When you can feel this wide space where thoughts come and go, where emotions come and go, you will feel the calmness and peacefulness. When you can do that, slowly open your eyes again and continue to feel this calmness and peacefulness. This calmness and peacefulness is always there 24/7, even when there is a lot of thoughts going on, even when emotions go up and down. It's like the sky is always there, even though there's a lot of storm. So this is one thing that we need to have faith in, not believing as in blind belief, faith as in confident that like we have the confidence that fire burn. We don't doubt that some fire don't burn, every fire burn. So we have the confidence and faith that this calmness and peacefulness is always there, no matter what happens. But we have to familiarize it. Feng asked Bhante how to feel and recognize the space in between thoughts. Oh, if you can't look at the space where the thoughts arise and pass away, space between thoughts actually is every thoughts that arise, you will cease first before the next thought arises. There's always a space, a gap. But if you cannot feel that, another way is feel the space where thoughts arise and pass away. If you still cannot do that, then try to look at space between objects. Like now, space between my two hands. Once you familiarize with space, with emptiness, then easier for you to notice the space between your thoughts. Space between two objects is not exactly the same, but it will help you to familiarize with not a thing. Okay. Another way is look at the white page when you read like I don't know, letters or things on the screen. Look at the background, the space, the background. So that way you will be able to get familiarized with emptiness, space between thoughts. Selena, Bhante, the short practice just now, is it beneficial to relieve a panic attack? Thank you, Bhante. It can help. But one fast way to help panic attack maybe is to do this, she called it Max Strong. You can look at him from YouTube video, MAXSTORM. He has this 4-7-8 method. Breathe in, count until 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The number's not so important. The reason to do this is a method. Okay, normally I don't give a method, but panic attack is like when you are totally in trouble. Then sometimes you need a method to get out. Using this method, you are putting attention on the counting and the breath. So you are not putting attention, focus on the thought. So the thoughts cannot continue. That's the reason. The easier way is if you know how to not pay attention to the thoughts, pay attention to the space where thoughts come and go, which means that you go back to the grounding, then you will solve your panic attack also. But if you can't, then one helpful method is to do the counting, watch the breathing in, hold, breathing out, and so on. The number's not so important. 478 is just a guide. Okay. Okay. So now, according to a lot of research paper, actually,
Bhante,
okay.
sorry,
Go ahead.
so disturb you. Just now you say you cannot believe that. I mean, if you cannot catch the thoughts between the space, then you say breathe in. That means we breathe in, count.
Oh, this one is for just now someone asked panic attack. If you have someone who is totally anxious, totally lost in their thoughts, their panic attack, one fast way is breathe in, count until 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh.
Because that way your mind is totally shifted into counting and the breath, so you can't get lost in thoughts.
Breathe in, breathe out, and then hold. No, breathe in, hold, then out, breathe out. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. For everyone, preferably if you can just see that you don't have to put your attention on the thoughts. You can put attention on the space where the thoughts arise or the space between thoughts. Then you don't need this method. Okay. And one way that's always helpful is to remember that you have natural innate health, innate mental health. That means that if you're not lost in thoughts, you will go back to this calm and peace, which is always there. This is a helpful direction to look. So as I was saying, now there's a lot of research papers that point that whatever mental disease that people have, doesn't matter whether it's schizophrenic, bipolar, depression, suicidal tendency, it's only one problem. Problem is the misuse of thoughts as a weapon to torture ourselves. So the solution is to understand how the mind works. That we can either use thoughts as a tool to help ourselves or use thought as a weapon to torture ourselves. And also to see that we have innate mental health. If we are not lost in thoughts, we will go back to this default. So just by knowing how the mind works, by knowing these two Dhamma or principle or phenomena, a lot of mental problems can be solved. And definitely if big mental problems like bipolar, panic attack, suicidal tendency can be solved, our normal problems with our thoughts definitely can be solved. Okay, so this is on any questions on this? So please try to always look in this two directions. One is we have natural mental health, always. Calmness, peacefulness is always with us at the background. Number two is we often misuse thoughts to torture ourselves. And our whole world is created by thoughts. Not just our whole world, we ourselves is also created by thoughts. So not just our world is created by thoughts, the thinker, the perceiver is also created by thoughts. Okay. Today, I want to maybe touch a bit on the some Buddhist foundation before we move on. Okay, there's a question. Selina, Bhante, long time ago, there was a video of a boy swims into a deep water from the surface that has a lot of waves and sits calmly in deep water. May I ask for the video on the link? I've tried to search but has not found it yet. Thank you, Bhante. I don't remember this video. If I find this video, I'll let you know, but I don't remember there's a video of a boy swim into a deep water. Yeah, I don't remember, sorry. Okay, so normally when Buddha teaches 2,600 years ago, he start with dana first. Okay. One of the reasons Buddha start with dana first is because dana will help us to open up our heart. Okay. In order for us to get back to this calm and peace in our mind, we have to open up our heart, open up our mind. So dana is a helpful. If we can give people things, then we have this ability to open up our mind, open our heart to accept things. Okay, so this is the first step. Okay, because one way to help us to go back to the default calmness and peacefulness is to not keep focusing on our problems. Keep focusing on problems by using thoughts to try to think ourselves up will not help. It's by totally letting go and relaxing. Then it's like I always give the analogy of the glass elevator, which will automatically goes up. Then our view will be wide. Then we will solve our problem because we will see much more possibilities, much more potential. Okay, so dana is the first step. Second step is sila. Sila is to at least train our mind within a certain constraint. So we take the 5 precepts, not try to abstain from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxicant, because all these will make our mind restless. So it's trying to contain our mind, not restless. Then, so we do, normally for most Buddhists, when they start, they will take the 3 refuges and 5 precepts first. The 3 refuges is so that we put all our mind towards the practice, take the refuge of the Buddha's way, practice towards awakening to see the truth. Okay, so then the next step is bhavana, which is normally translated as meditation, but better translation is cultivation of the mind. How to cultivate the mind? We use the 4 Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path. Noble Eightfold Path starts with the right view, which is the view of the 4 Noble Truths. So the 4 Noble Truths basically is 4 parts which I keep mentioning many times, but basically we have to see number 1 is all our problems, all our unsatisfactoriness, all our suffering comes from personalization of whatever experience we have. Basically, we believe our thought created world. So this is what we have to understand. So the first noble truth is to be understood according to the Buddha in the setting of the wheel, the motion, turning of the wheel of Dhamma, first sutta. Then the second is the cause has to be abandoned. The cause is us holding on to our emotion, holding on to our interpretation of our thoughts. So this one has to be abandoned, and what has to be realized is this letting go and renunciation of whatever thoughts we have. And finally, the Noble Eightfold Path has to be practiced, has to be cultivated. So this is the 4 Noble Truths, the noble truth of the dukkha, suffering or unsatisfactoriness, which is the personalization of whatever experience we have. Then the cause, which is the emotion and the interpretation of whatever experience we have. The thoughts, we take it as real and cause the emotion. The cessation, the solution in the end is not holding on to the renunciation of all these thoughts, not holding on to the thoughts. And the path is practicing, putting this view into practice. Okay, so this is a very rough explanation of the 4 Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. So I keep going back to this to go back to the foundation. Okay, and today one other thing I want to touch on is the 5 mental faculties or 5 spiritual faculties, which is often talked about in Buddhism. This part of the 37 factors of enlightenment, but also an important part. The 5 mental faculties or spiritual faculties, pancha indriya, if you develop it, you'll become 5 spiritual powers or 5 mental powers, pancha bala. So it starts off with saddha, faith. Faith here is not a belief. Faith here is the confidence in how things work. If you keep seeing that we have natural mental health, we have this calm and peace inside us all the time, you have this confidence that no matter how disturbed your mind is, you are not affected, you have this resilience because you know that at the back, this calmness is always there. So this is that saddha, this is the faith. It's like you have this faith that fire always burn. You have this faith that tomorrow's morning sun will shine, will come, will shine on us. At night, no, you will not see the sun. These are scientific fact, which is that's why you have faith in it. So this faith and confidence is not like faith and confidence in believing something that don't exist. This faith and confidence because you have realized it. So that's why I keep stressing realization, seeing and knowing is important. Once you see how the mind works, your whole entire life will change. Knowing is seeing it all the time. So when you see and know how things work, basically you realize how things work, your life will change. Because when you see that anger comes from angry thoughts, not come from outside. Sadness comes from sad thoughts, not from outside. Depression comes from depressive thoughts, not from outside. Then your entire life will change. Doesn't mean that you won't have any more anger. It means that you are not afraid of anger, sadness, depression anymore, and you cannot continue them anymore because you need effort to continue to make yourself angry, to make yourself sad, to make yourself depressed, and so on. Okay. So the entire Dhamma is not for us to learn to memorize. It's for us to realize for ourselves, to see, to know for ourselves, and to see, to know that actually everything in life that's happening is for us to realize the truth. Whatever is happening is for us to realize the truth. So back to the 5 mental faculties, if you keep having this faith in the truth, in how things work, then it will give you the wisdom in seeing things. So faith and wisdom comes together, then you will make more effort. This effort is no need strength. This is effortless effort. You put more effort into looking at this direction. It's like now if you look in front of you, you will see me in front of your screen. If you look at the back, you will see something else. So you need this effort to look at the correct direction, to look at the direction inside you for an answer. Because anger means angry thoughts coming from here, not from outside. Normally, we look for answer from outside. So you have faith, one of the mental faculty will have wisdom, because through faith, through realization, you increase your wisdom. And then you will have the effort to look in the correct direction. And then effort also will bring you this composure, samadhi, because you're not affected anymore by what's happening. You will slowly live the Dhamma and becomes the Dhamma. And then you have this Sakti mindfulness all the time. Your awareness will become stronger and stronger when you can see how the life works. So this is a very rough idea on these 5 mental faculties. Faith, by seeing, realizing the truth, will let you live a life of wisdom, and you continue to make effort to see at the correct direction, the direction of the truth. That means like seeing all your experiences are formed from thoughts in here, not out there, and you have this natural calmness inside you. When you keep seeing this, you will get into the composure state, the equipoise state, the samadhi state, and then you will constantly have this awareness. Okay. Okay, Zizhen, let's show these slides. There are few quotations which I shared with you a few weeks ago, but I want to go through again because something interesting there. Okay, first slide is the teenage camp. Anyone who know any teenager, please help to promote this camp in Kajang, Buddhist Missionary Society, Malaysia. 1st to 4th January next year. So if you have any teenagers 13 to 17 years old, you can register. Closing date is mid-December, so please register early. And we will have lucky draw, and the lucky draw will be Labubu Pokmat toys. Okay, please help to promote this. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, duality, consciousness, this is a sutta on duality. Consciousness come into being independence on a duality. What's the duality? So basically, everything in the world happens because of many different conditions. Okay, usually at least two conditions, duality. So there is consciousness when there is an I, which is impermanent changing, and visible objects. When there's object to be seen and there's I, both which are impermanent changing, come together, you will have this I consciousness. But because both are impermanent, the I consciousness also is impermanent. For how could I consciousness arisen? By dependent on impermanent condition be permanent. The coincidence, concurrence, confluence, and these three factors, the I visible object and I consciousness, is called cognition when the three come together. And the mental phenomena result is also impermanent. Same with other senses. So whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, all keep changing because the condition that allows us to see, hear, smell, taste keep changing. So whatever experience we have is not solid, it's substance, it keep changing. Okay, next slide, please. This is from the sweet morsel discourse. Madhu is a sweet friend as one who tells that whereby he quarrels with no one in the world, with gods, maras, divinities, in this generation with his monks, divines, kings, and men. It means all the different beings in this world. The Buddha never quarreled with them. And who tells that whereby perceptions no more underlie the divine one, and when he abides dissociate from sensual desire, undoubting, son of worry, rid of craving of any kind of being, so do I tell, friend, so do I preach. So what Buddha preaches is not holding on to any perceptions, not holding on. When you have perceptions, then you will have desire, doubt, and so on. So when you don't hold on to your story, your perception, you are free from your desire, your doubt. Desire here, sensual desires, in holding on to things, doubt and worry, and so on. Then you have no quarrel with people. Next slide, please. Because so that as to what which is their source, evaluation, judgment of diversifying proliferation of perceptions besets a man. Evaluation or judgment here is how we access, we give meaning to things. Proliferation is the mind keep thinking, endless commentary. So what happens is, the problem that we have is we have this, we give meaning to whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, and we keep thinking and thinking and thinking about it. Okay. If there is to be found nothing to be, then to be delight in, affirm, to accept, this is the end of the underlying tendencies. If we can see all these are just stories, every time, everything we see, hear, smell, taste is us giving meaning to whatever information that comes in, and us giving many stories or commentary to it, then we won't take it as real. When we won't take it as real, then that's the end of our tendency to lust, resistance, will, uncertainty, conceit, lust for being, ignorance, and so on. This is the end of resorting to sticks, resorting to weapons, quarrels, brawls, dispute, recrimination, malice, speech. Here, unprofitable Dhamma ceases without remainder. If we don't believe our stories, then we won't go and beat people up, quarrel, and so on. Okay, next slide, please. When we don't get overwhelmed with endless inner commentary, giving meaning to whatever we experience, our identity of self will not be established, and hence the end of underlying tendencies to greed, hatred, delusion. So the key is, if we don't get overwhelmed, that means we don't believe all these stories inside us that we give meaning to, then this identity of self will not come up. And then because there is no identity of a permanent self, greed, hatred, delusion won't form. Okay, next slide, please. Depending on the I and forms, I consciousness arise. The coincidence of these three, this one just now we mentioned, I visible object, then there's cognition. And cognition, when the cognition, there's feeling. With the man, when he feels, he perceives. When he perceives, he thinks about. When he thinks about, he diversifies. That means he adds more stories. When he diversifies, what he diversifies as a source, The evaluation of diversifying perceptions beset a man, overwhelmed person with respect to past, future, and present form cognizable by the eye. So what we think, we give more meaning, we give more stories to it, and that's how we get overwhelmed in it. Next slide, please. Because when one knows and sees the eye as it actually is, when one knows and sees form as it actually is, when one knows and sees eye consciousness as it actually is, when one knows and sees eye cognition as it actually is, when one knows and sees as it actually is, the feeling felt as pleasant, painful, or neither painful nor pleasant that arises with eye cognition as a condition, then one is not inflamed by lust for the eye. That means if we don't add salt and pepper, add our stories and meaning, then we won't get inflamed. We won't get inflamed by lust. We won't have this craving, clinging for forms, eye consciousness, or eye cognition. For the feeling felt as pleasant, painful, or neither painful nor pleasant that arise with eye cognition as condition. That means we won't crave, we won't hold on to the eye consciousness, the cognition, the form, and so on. If we can see without adding all the salt and pepper, or we can see that we are adding salt and pepper, we won't get carried away so much. Okay, next slide, please. When one abides uninflamed by lust, unfettered, uninfatuated, contemplating danger, then the 5 aggregates affected by personalization are diminished for oneself in the future. So if we are not lost in the stories that we create, then we won't continue to personalize things and form this self. And one's emotional reaction, which bring along renewal of being, is accompanied by delight and lust, and delight in this and that is abandoned. This is a second noble truth. Our emotional reaction will be abandoned if we don't continue personalizing things. One's bodily and mental troubles are abandoned. One's bodily and mental torments are abandoned. One's bodily mental fevers are abandoned, and one experiences bodily and mental pleasure. Okay, next slide, please. The view of a person such as this is a right view. When you can see that whatever we experience is all stories created by us, this is the right view. This is intention is right intention. His effort is right effort. His mindfulness is right mindfulness. Samadhi is right samadhi. By his bodily action, verbal action, livelihood has already been well purified earlier. Thus, this Noble Eightfold Path comes to fulfillment in him by development. When he develops this Noble Eightfold Path, the 4 foundations of mindfulness also come to fulfillment in him by development. If his view is correct, his intention correct, and the rest of the Noble Eightfold Path falls in. When his Noble Eightfold Path is developed, then he has this 4 foundations of mindfulness, and the 4 rights of kinds of striving effort also is fulfilled. The 4 bases of spiritual power is also fulfilled. 5 faculties, which I mentioned just now, the 5 spiritual faculties or 5 mental faculties, the 5 powers also come fulfillment, and the 7 factors of enlightenment also come fulfillment. I won't go into detail, but basically the 7 factors of enlightenment all will be fulfilled if you get your view right. When your view right is your intention is right, and the rest all fall in. Then the 2 things, samatha, vipassana, serenity and insight, occur to him together. Okay, next slide, please. He fully understands by direct knowledge those things that he should be fully understood, fully understood by direct knowledge. He abandons, this is the 4 noble truths basically. He fully understands, he abandons the cause, he develops, he realizes actually at the Bali, he realized things that should be realized, and he develops things that should be developed by direct knowledge. Okay, next slide, please. And what are the things he fully understood by direct knowledge? The answer is the 5 aggregates affected by personalization. He understands how our body is formed by our personalization, by calling ourselves my hand, my head, and so on. We claim ownership. Our feeling like my leg very painful, actually there is sharp sensation on the leg, but we claim ownership. Perception, we see something, we think this is my computer, my house, and so on. So our mental formation, our stories that personalize, also we personalize it. our consciousness, awareness, we personalize it. These are the things that should be fully understood by direct knowledge. Understand by direct knowledge how every moment in life we personalize every single experience we have. Okay, next slide, please. The last slide. And what are things that should be abandoned by direct knowledge? Ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing that we personalize things, we add stories into our experience. That every single experience we have is just stories. This is the ignorance. And because of the ignorance, we crave for things. These are the things that should be abandoned by direct knowledge. And what are the things should be developed by direct knowledge? Samatha vipassana, the calmness. We will develop the calmness if we know that we already have this calmness and our thoughts are just stories. And this is also the insight. These are the two things that should be developed by direct knowledge. And what are things should be realized by direct knowledge? True knowledge and deliverance. These are the two things that should be developed by direct knowledge. True knowledge is understanding how the minds work. Deliverance is being liberated, having the freedom. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Zhen. Okay, any questions that you have? Please to ask questions so that I know where you understand and don't understand. Basically, I'm using the sutta to let you see that the two key things I keep emphasizing, that if we are not lost in thoughts, we are back to this natural calm state. And our whole world is created by thoughts and looks very real, but looking very real doesn't mean it's real. But that's the only reality we have, a reality created by thoughts. So we can either make use of these thoughts as a tool to help us function in this thoughts created world, or use it to harm ourselves. Okay, any questions? Oh, what should we do to understand our mind? Someone asked. Very easy. To understand our mind is keep exploring every experience you have. That's why I say, I always encourage you the next time when you're angry, try to see that the anger comes from your angry thoughts, not from outside. If someone says something and you get angry, if you don't have these thoughts, how come he say this? Why did he say this? Why did he bully me? Why he's always like this? You cannot get angry no matter what a person say. It's through our thoughts that we are able to experience whatever a person say or don't say, do or don't do. So if you can see how our thoughts create our world, then you can understand the mind better. So this is how we understand practical in our daily life. The next time when you are upset, when you are sad, try to see that if you don't continue with the sad thoughts, angry thoughts, you cannot continue to be sad, cannot continue angry, even if you want to. Okay, so experiment in your daily life. So this is how we understand our mind. Also try to see that if you look at the space where thoughts arise and pass away instead of the thoughts or the emotion, you will feel this natural calmness. Then you will get more familiar and have more faith and confidence that naturally we are calm and peaceful. So these are ways that we can see the natural qualities of how the mind works. Okay, any other questions? But thought is only one of the 5 aggregates of the mind. Start with these aggregates, it's easiest to see. Okay, start with the easier aggregate to see. Any other questions? Feeling also you can see that your feeling doesn't give you problem unless you personalize it. Your body also don't give you problem unless you personalize it. So again, you can see from other aggregates also, but thoughts is easiest to see. Any other questions or sharing? Last question or sharing? If not, please continue to explore the Dhamma in your daily drama. Try to, the next time when you have any struggle, any drama, anger, upset, and so on, try to see that if you don't have the corresponding thoughts, you cannot continue with those. Okay, we will share merits. We share merits with all the devas, Dhamma protectors, guardian deities, family members, relative friends, especially departed family member, relative friends, and ancestors. Make aspiration always with the wise, avoid the foolish, be free from greed, hatred, delusion. At the end, again, share merits with all beings, wishing all beings an equal share of merits. Etawata chame sampadam punya sampadam sabe dewa anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etawata chame sampadam punya sampadam sabe buddha anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etawata chame sampadam punya sampadam sabe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Dame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Dame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame punyang asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idame punyang nibbana sa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabasathanang pajema. Te sabe me samam punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, 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 sukhi hotu. We'll see you next week. Take care. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the weekend. Take care.
Thank you, Bhante. Good night.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Nice.
Thank you,
To
Bhante.
everyone.
Thank you, Bhante. Good night.